Today we're going to be tying my version of a blueing olive dry fly that I think has a very realistic look. I've had very good luck catching fish with that pattern. We'll start with some foam, some 1mm thick foam, and we'll cut a thin strip that we'll use to make the tail. This is a tail tying jig from Jason Sweden. Mine's a little bit beat up, but it works, and even just a small bent piece of wire will work. So we'll tie on some olive thread. For the tail, we'll be using 2 mayfly tail fibers, which we will cut to size and singe the ends initially just to hold them together. They can be tied directly to the end of the tail tying jig. We'll tie in the tail. Then we'll take the foam that we cut previously and bend it in half, and just right over the tip of the wire, at the end of the wire there. A little tricky sometimes. And it'll push the tail, the fibers up, which is fine. So I stretch it tight and make one loop, and then one loop in between. Sometimes I'll cut off the little nub of the fibers there, and then what I'll do is pull this tight. We want the body to be segmented and tapered, so the first couple will pull tight and then we'll release as we go up. I'm going to be using a size 18 dry fly hook, and for that 5 body segments seems to be about the right number. So I'll pull this, but maybe with a little less tension. Again, trying to make a progressively segmented and tapered body. So this one maybe not quite as tight. Slightly bigger, and then one more. We'll go ahead and whip tie that off. Okay, snip it off, and then we'll remove the wire and set it aside. Then I'll trim these, and you can see it makes a nice tail. We'll trim these relatively close because we have to tie it onto the hook shank. And for now, I'll put that aside. So this is my size 18 dry fly hook. Again, some olive thread, and then we'll tie on and snip off. And I like to put a light coating of thread over the entire length of the hook shank, and then up back about 2/3 of the way. And then we'll tie in our little tail. Try to keep it on the upside there, and then just tie it so we push the foam tabs down a little bit. Okay, and then we'll start this is a parachute type mayfly, and so we'll put a little bit of parachute material on here. And then wrap around to hold it in position, and then wrap up higher to make the stem for the parachute. Alright, then we'll wrap back to the base of the tail, and we'll do a little bit of dubbing, a little bit of olive dubbing here. Right up to the hook, and then back to the base of the parachute. So then I have a piece of saddle hackle, and this is size 18. That will expose a little bit of a stem. We'll tie that in, and then we'll begin securing it to the little stem for the parachute. Oops. Try that again. Tail is binding me up there a little bit. I'll just push that down for now. So wind it up to the top of the stem there, and then back down so we can secure it at the end. Okay, and then take about 4 or 5 wraps with the hackle, trying to move sequentially down towards the body there. And then what we'll do is we'll take some wraps in a perpendicular or horizontal fashion here. Try not to catch the fibers too much, and then I like to go above the hackle so it all gets tied in nicely. Okay. And then pull back there, come out to the hook and try not to tie too many of the hackle fibers in. We'll trim off this. Alright, we'll clean that up in a minute. And we'll tie this off. Again, try not to tie in too many of the hackle fibers. You can always trim them off. And we'll trim the top here. Then what I like to do is just put a little bit of the UV activated adhesive just to make the fly a little bit more durable. So I'll put it right where we tied in the hackle. About 15 seconds. And then what I like to do is color the tail a little bit. Again, the details of this can be found on Jason Sweden's website. Nothing magic about it, just going to try to give it a little bit of color and bring out the segmentation. So I'm going to use a combination of markers here. Initially one that's an olive. I coat the whole body with that. Doesn't matter if you get the tail a little bit. So it's sort of a nice even coat with that. And then I go back to something lighter like a yellow. And just go over it a little bit. It sort of lightens up the olive and brings out the segmentation of the body a little bit more. And there you have it. My version of a bluing olive dry fly. Thank you. This is the finished product. I think it looks very realistic. And here is the fish eye view. Thank you.